Greetings, family. Empress D in nature. Soaking up my final days at El Dorado Park. Family, I remember I shared with you that I am not a tree, and I don't feel that I'm valued here in Ontario, Canada. I don't feel valued here, and so I am going to move around this planet because I am not a tree. And so soon I will be embarking on my journey, family. And I said I was going to take y'all with me. I actually thought this was going to happen a year ago, but nothing is on my timing. This is on the universe or God's timing. I can't control the timing of it. I knew it was going to happen. But again, I thought it was going to happen a year ago. But here we are, family. And again, I'll take y'all on the ride. Family, what I wanted to talk about is something that is such a popular topic or popular word or popular characteristic or popular personality trait that others like to chuck on others, and that's narcissism. Everybody always says, oh, he's narcissistic, or oh, she's narcissistic, right? I always cringe when people do that because narcissism is like an actual clinical diagnosis. And I guess this is me coming from my previous life as a nurse practitioner, where that's like an actual diagnosis. You're not going to just call somebody that and label somebody that. So especially when people with large platforms, and I remember, well, anyway, yeah, I don't like it. But they might very well be a narcissist, but how do you know? What if they're not? Imagine the whole world is calling somebody a narcissist and they're not. That's so hard. And so that's what I'm saying. Like, we got to be so careful when we label people's stuff because, these labels stick, right, family? Anyway, I wanted to talk about narcissism, and not in the way that normally people think. I like to look at the outside and the alternative therapies and theories surrounding narcissism. And there's a few flying around out there now that I've been seeing recently. One being that the inability to self-reflect is essentially equal to narcissism. And that is such a new concept to me, equating one to the other or associating them, right? Because this, and let me share this platform with you. It's on YouTube. It's called Narc Dojo. So Narc, short for narcissist, Dojo. And I think and I've only heard a couple of videos from this platform, but I think it's like a fusion of spirituality-based, Christian-based narcissistic abuse recovery. And I've never heard of it spoken to from this perspective, and I find her videos compelling. So I would encourage those who are interested in that kind of stuff to check her out. I think it's called Narc Dojo. Anyway, so she was speaking to the fact that this could very well be it, and I was like, whoa, it hit me and dawned on me. I was like, wow, right? And so if you're not able to self-reflect, how are you going to evolve? You cannot move beyond the point that you're at. And part of her theory, or what she's teaching, and I don't know if it's her theory, but what she's teaching is that, and this is exactly what I feel like, and I feel like I've shared it in videos, that all dysfunction comes from trauma in the childhood. And that needs to be addressed and resolved in order to thrive, in order to not have limitations. So I would encourage you guys to check her out. But what I wanted to share more specifically is that it's so important to be able to self-reflect. And maybe I should, like, I don't know, I'm assuming that people know what narcissism is, or what the actual clinical or psychological or the therapeutic, the way that clinicians refer to narcissism. It's when people are not viewed that they have. So let me speak to from this perspective of the narcissistic person. So from their perspective, from the narcissistic person's perspective, other people don't have feelings. Like, they don't think about, it doesn't dawn on them that other people have feelings. They only have the capacity to think about their perspective. And so when they relate and with others, they're actually using them. And don't get me wrong, a lot of narcissists are going to do all of the right things, but the action comes from a different place. From a narcissist perspective, when they do something nice, they're doing it with the mindset of getting something out of it. Whereas a person that's not narcissistic does it from a place of wanting to serve the other person. The bottom line, and I'm going to just wrap this up nice and short, is if you find that you do not have the ability to self-reflect, according to this theory, and I'm not going to lie, it resonates with me, you may be narcissistic. And I'm sure that narcissism, just like autism, is on a spectrum, right? There's a spectrum of, there's likely, and I haven't read anything about it, but I'm sure we're just finding the tip of the iceberg of all mental health and all mental health challenges. So traditional medicine, what I learned when I was doing my education, I think we're going to be throwing all of that out the window, because we are now learning that mental health challenges, limitations, struggles come that one experiences as an adult, in adulthood, that they continually repeat and cannot go beyond or supersede or overcome. Those limitations are as a result of traumas that happened within our early years, and oftentimes even in our beyond, throughout our lives. Basically, it's so interesting, and I've spoken about this earlier in videos. 0 to 7, that age is where the brain is like a sponge. It has no perspective. So its only perspective is what it sees, and it soaks up. And the other thing is, it doesn't have judgment. So that sponge doesn't have judgment. It can think that the most heinous things are just normal because it's just soaking up like a sponge what it's the liquid within its environment. That pediatric brain from 0 to 7. And when we look at that, that's core memories. Oh man, it goes deep, family. And so one has to be able to self-reflect, and that's a must at this point. So I hope that we all starting and learning to do that, family. Anyway, I think that's what's up today. Thank you for taking the time to listen to this message. Okay, I love and I value each and every one of you. One love.